take the center cap off, use a straight blade screwdriver. Take that off. Use a 22mm socket, take off the lug nuts. Take the wheel off. Take these two caliper bolts out. I'm going to use a 12mm socket and then a 16mm wrench just to hold the slide from spinning. Loosen these up. Now I'll just use a screwdriver, pry the caliper off. Pull it out, and you can use a caliper hanger and just support it from the upper control arm right there. Just make sure there's no tension on the hose. You can slide it over here. Take the brake pads off, just use the same straight blade screwdriver. And take an 18mm socket, take these two caliper bracket bolts out. Take these bolts out and slide the bracket right off. I want to separate the bracket from the caliper. I'm going to use a 12mm socket, take these two bolts out. Now before we put these anti-rattle clips or brake pad clips on, just use a little brake grease. And just put it right there. It's just going to prevent some corrosion on the caliper bracket. You can put the clip down and give it a nice thin coat right on top. Do the same for the other side. And take the caliper bracket, slide it in position. Take the caliper bolts, get those started. You can put some thread locking compound on them. Now I'm going to torque these bolts to 122 foot-pounds. Now take the brake pads with the wear indicator facing to the top. Slide those in position. Now we're going to install this clip on the caliper itself. Just line it up. This piece goes towards the inside and just slips in like that. That looks good. Now take the caliper and line the caliper up. Get the bolts started. Now I'm going to use a 16mm wrench to prevent the caliper slide from spinning, and then tighten this bolt to 31 foot-pounds. Do the same on the top one. Now we want to top off the brake fluid before we attach the lines or even disconnect the lines, because we don't want this brake fluid to go too low, or then it's going to be harder to bleed the system. And take the cap off, wipe it off first with a rag. Make sure you use the appropriate brake fluid. I'm just going to top it off all the way to the top. That's good. I'll just put the cap back on. Now if you were not going to replace the brake hose when you're replacing the caliper, you would take this bolt out right here, the banjo bolt, and you're going to replace the two gaskets on there. You're going to use an 11mm socket to take those out, put two new gaskets on, and then attach it to the caliper. We're going to replace the hose in our video. Now take this cap off of here. Take your banjo bolt with some new washers on them, or gaskets, copper gaskets. We'll line this up. And then we're going to torque this banjo bolt to 30 foot-pounds. Now I'm going to take the cap off the bleeder right here. Just use a pick or something, or even a little screwdriver. And make sure you have a drain bucket underneath or something to catch the fluid, and loosen up this bleeder screw. I'm just gonna let it gravity bleed first. All right, now take your cap off, double check your fluid level before you bleed it, top it off. Now we had the brake line off for about 10 minutes. We only lost about that much fluid, which isn't too bad. So it only went down a little bit. So if you had to go about 10 minutes, that's probably acceptable. Put the cap back on. Now the fluid started coming out of the bleeder, so it's gravity bled. I'm going to use a 10mm wrench, snug this up, and then if you have any other calipers or brake hoses to replace, now you can move on to the next one. Do all those before you perform a complete brake system bleed. Now pump up the brake pedal, just go slow. So the pedal is still very spongy. Now what we're going to do is hold the brake pedal down and open the bleeder up. So it's someone else pushing down on the brake pedal. Go ahead, push it down. When it's holding, I'm going to open up the bleeder slowly. You're going to see some air bubbles come out. Then I'll close it. Then I'll say, okay, you can let up. And then push it down again. And have them hold it. Open it up. More air bubbles came out. Let up. And hold it. Some more air bubbles came out. And it doesn't look like there's any more air. So I can close this one up, tighten that. Put the cap back on. Just spray this area down with some brake parts cleaner and move on to the next wheel. Now you want to double check your brake fluid level. Just use a rag, wipe it down, give it a shake, and there's a max line and a min line. Double check it, it looks good. Adjust accordingly. If for any reason before you were bleeding the brake fluid or before you were replacing the calipers, if the fluid level got below the master cylinder, you're gonna need to do an automated bleed afterwards. You're gonna need a scan tool and a pressure bleeder. But if you had the fluid up to par, you should be all set. And reinstall the wheel. Put the lug nuts on. Now I'm gonna torque these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a star pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. And just go around again, double check. And reinstall the center cap.